welcome to Cooking with a Hint of Science. My name's Dr. Tina, and I love to cook, but I'm also a scientist. I went to college for over 11 years, and I've noticed the relationship between cooking and science, and you know what? I'm really good at both, and I want you to be too. So let's go and learn about supersaturated solutions today, and I know that sounds complicated, and you know what? It's not. So our example today will be simple syrup. Now, you might notice that I have a cup of water and a cup of sugar. We're going to dissolve the sugar into the water. Pretty easy, right? Sugar is going to dissolve right away. There we go. You can see it dissolving. That solution is becoming saturated. So what is supersaturated? Well, in a minute here, I'm going to add more sugar, and you're going to see that it's not going to dissolve anymore. Not by a lot. Look at all that sugar in the water. Even if I stir it for the next hour, it's just not going to dissolve. So how are we going to make this syrup and make all that sugar dissolve? Well, one easy answer, we're going to put it over heat. That's going to melt the sugar, and it's going to make a supersaturated solution, which means that the solution can hold more than it usually would because you've heated up the water. So that sugar is going to melt down. Now you remember I added a cup of water and a cup of sugar. That should equal 2 cups, right? But it won't. It's going to be equal about 1.5 cups of simple syrup. So come on over and let's see this magic happen on the stove. So we're going to make 2 different kinds of simple syrup. Now you can leave it plain with just the syrup and the water, and that's great added to cocktails, to coffee, but today we're going to make 2 different kinds. First, I'm going to infuse one with rosemary, and the other pot I'm going to infuse with raspberries. 2 different uses for them. So in each of these I have the 1 cup of sugar and the 1 cup of water in each. So what we're going to do is over medium heat, we're just going to let the sugar dissolve in both of these. So let's take a look. We can already see the sugar starting to melt. Do you see the sugar swirling around in there? Still, the solution is saturated. But when it gets to that sweet spot where it gets really hot and warm, it's going to be super saturated. Now you don't have to stir it all the time, just occasionally. I just wanted to show you that sugar in there. This is so easy to make. All you have to do is wait for that sugar to melt. We're going to drop in that rosemary, and we're just going to let it infuse for about 5 or 10 minutes, and we're done. You let it cool. The raspberry is a little bit different. So in this simple syrup, same idea. Over medium heat, we're dissolving the sugar, and in a minute here, as soon as it comes to a nice simmer, we're going to add those raspberries. And with this one, we're going to simmer down the raspberries a little bit so they break down so we can have a nice syrup. I'm going to pour it over cupcakes. Ooh, come look at this. So you can see the difference between the one with the sugar in it and the one with the dissolved sugar. There it goes, almost all gone. Can you see the sugar grains? We're almost there. Wasn't that easy? Just a few minutes. And these infused simple syrups go for so much money, and you can just make your own in a few minutes. Now you don't have to catch up right when the sugar dissolves. You can go an extra 30 seconds, a minute. It'll be fine. The sugar's in there. And what's cool about a supersaturated solution is that sugar's in there. Once it cools, that sugar's not coming back out. It's stuck. Although, one fun thing you can do is make rock candy. If you've got kids, they love it. So, we've melted the sugar, but technically this solution is pretty unstable. So, if you let it cool and you put a stick in there, say, over time that sugar is going to bind to the stick because it wants to come out of the solution. So, just a little fun science experiment for later. Ooh, this is looking perfect. So I'm simply going to turn off the heat on this one. We're going to add a nice big sprig of rosemary. Oh, that smells so good. Kind of stir it in there, get those oils dissolved too. Oh, so good. Rosemary simple syrup can be used in a lot of different things, but today we're going to use it in a cocktail. Now, if you're making a bunch of different simple syrups, you can always add a drop of food coloring to them so you can tell which one. Although you're going to see our raspberry one is going to be really red at the end. But you could add a drop of green if you like, you know, just to make it a little special. Turn up the heat on this one a little. Our sugar just isn't melting very fast. We're just going to let that one sit in its little hot tub 5 to 10 minutes. Then we'll put it in a lidded jar and store it in the fridge. What's nice about this is simple syrup can keep for quite a long time. Now if we made just plain simple syrup, it'll keep for about 30 days. Our herbed simple syrup, about 2 weeks. And the fruited simple syrup, about 1 week. Oh, there it goes. We're going to add our fruit. Turn it down just a hint again. All right, we're just going to let this simmer. It'll take about 15 minutes for that fruit just to break down and turn into that syrupy goodness that we're looking for. Good. So our raspberry simple syrup is pretty much done. Come over and take a look. So you can see that the raspberries have pretty much disintegrated, and it's got this beautiful pink color to the simple syrup. Look at that. Oh my gosh, that looks so delicious. All right, so I've got it off the heat right now, and we're gonna strain it into a jar. Now, if you want to keep the seeds in there, you certainly can, but you will want to strain it, you know, if you're making a syrup or gonna put it over cupcakes like I'm doing. We'll strain that out. Oh my gosh, look at that beautiful rich color. Perfect. All right, you're gonna love what I'm putting these on. I've made homemade buttermilk chocolate cupcakes with my own buttercream chocolate frosting. So decadent, chocolate lover's dream. And we're gonna top it with this raspberry sauce. It is gonna be heaven. All right, so our raspberry simple syrup has cooled now, just to room temperature. It could be colder, but this will be perfect for our chocolate cupcakes. As you can see, the buttermilk in this has really made it nice and moist. It's even a bit springy. I touched it, so that one's mine. And I've got my homemade buttercream chocolate frosting. We're just gonna do a quick swirl. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're gonna have that beautiful sauce on top. And that's really gonna be the star. So go ahead and pop a raspberry on top. Now you see I've got it on a plate. That's because this can get a little messy. So go ahead and just drizzle over the raspberry simple syrup over your cupcake. Get that beautiful red color all over it. It's gonna add a touch of sweetness. It's gonna soak into that chocolate cake. That is gonna be amazing tasting. So that's one use for simple syrup. The other use we've got is our grapefruit drink. Grapefruits are in season right now at this time of year. They come in season right after Christmas. Oh my gosh, this smells so fresh and citrusy. It's gonna make an amazing drink. So what I've got in here is just grapefruit juice so far. I've got our rosemary simple syrup that we just made. And then I've got 2 ounces of gin. It is after 5 o'clock. So we'll add in our gin. And then our rosemary simple syrup. Now what the rosemary is gonna do for this grapefruit, it's really gonna bring out the sweetness in the grapefruit. So we've got a tart, sweet, fun evening ahead of us. Cheers.